Nice. So we will begin the game. I will say that there is quite a lot of narration in this game. So we will see how that goes. Crafty Cryptid, thank you very much for the Prime sub. That is an amazing 33 months. It's very much appreciated. So yeah, there's quite a lot of dialogue in this game. If you think it's too low, I can turn it up. But yeah, let's enjoy this. Flashbanged by the game immediately. Make sure audio is on. Audio is on. Controls are WASD and looking around. I will say that at the options, I believe that I do have subtitles on.
Thank you very much.
Let's fucking double check that. I'm gonna turn on full captions, okay? And laptop person, overlay option, advanced options. Nah, we're all good there. Apply. Cool. Hopefully this allows us to have...
much for playing the beginner's guide. Hi there. Thank you very much for playing the beginner's guide.
There we go.
My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveyWreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
I am going to try and remain kind of quiet throughout this because I think it's important for people to experience it. But yeah, it's interesting. You've already asked the question, access to the creator, the wording's interesting. Should players have that? More shall maybe be revealed.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda. kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin shift activation.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room. Apparently this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it. Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Yep. Amazing.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it, like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse.
I love seeing
don't
stuff
even know.
like this.
I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind. Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards.
Oh, this is trippy.
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
How will she find the strength to confront it?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
You're now entering.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Done. Completed a million
Oftentimes,
games
Coda
on
would
stream.
put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games. I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
It's interesting though, because it's like what
Once you've been
constitutes a
slowed to
game.
an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
An idea pool. You are a gate. You start in a small room until you realise you can just walk
A
through
room
walls.
that's warm,
A stranger appears.
nice, and filled with little ideas.
You must
for
address and
games.
rally a group of eager press reporters. Stand on an X staring at a bear for 3 hours.
Coda
Construct
would
a
often
wall,
tell
the
me
wall
that
is
he didn't
destroyed.
mind if people
You're given
thought
a
of him
medal.
as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
Nice to have her. Hey Bonnie, how you doing? A button you press to stop the chaos that doesn't work. Oh man, feels like life. Okay.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it. Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon.
3
We're going to see
dots.
it a lot.
Through here. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like the interiors here. There's something kind of weirdly pleasing
So
about
that
them.
seems to be it, right?
It's like a
You
spa.
walk down a corridor, you solve
Almost.
the puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Holy shit.
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same. Is that
Kind of
most of the time,
liminal-
you don't get to
liminal
know what
space
you're
kinda
missing,
constitutes
or even
that, right?
think you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
Back here. You're now exiting.
So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in. There's some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Possibly. It'd be wonder if maybe he starts to say something. Oh, that's a lot of white. You can see every
Let's
single
talk about
pore
video
on my
game
face.
development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development. To make all of these games, Coda is
Okay.
using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the
I can
things
jump
that it does very well
between these.
is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well.
Oh fuck.
The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Yes. Just falling slowly into the abyss. Oh, fuck. Made it. See what I mean? There is something like weirdly nice about, like, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's nostalgia for your kind of like Half-Life kind of games or like Source Engine games in general, but you know what I mean? There's something about this. I am now sealed in. Oh. Oh. Wow. And games will really just do anything, right?
This prison.
Yep, we'll just
In
seal ourselves
Coda's
in.
original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go.
Fuck's sake.
If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
Thank you, that's kind.
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
Ah, check out the ground textures.
It's the puzzle again,
Yep.
with the exact same solution as the last time. There's still no clear indication
Puzzle
of what
solving
makes this
mastery.
puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly. Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
You there, did you come from up above? What was up there? Yes, there was a world stamped with whiteness. Yes, there was an enormous prison I spent hours in. Yes, there were these floating coloured blocks. Let's go for floating coloured blocks. That's the world above. You've been there. Now, this is important. Did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? Yes, I did. That was literally the last thing I did before coming here. No, I don't remember having to go through any puzzle. I'd prefer not to tell you. After all, we've only just met. But yes, I did. Again, perfect. Now, please tell us how you solved it. Tell us the solution. Tell us how to get to the other side. I don't remember how I solved it. I'm trying to remember, but I can't. I didn't solve it. Someone else let me in. Or trust me, you don't want to go over there. Trust me, you don't want to go over there? Oh no, but I do. We do. We need to get there. Do you understand? It's the most important thing in the world. We have to escape this prison. There must be an ending. I promise you there is nothing I want more. Huh? Bye then. Oh, they're gone. Wait, what? Oh, fuck. Hello, how did you get here? Was there a puzzle you had to pass through? No, I've been right here this entire time. I suggest you go and see the puzzle sometime. It's not meant to be solved, but you can sit in the black space in the middle. What happened? Who are you? Who are you? Just go hang out there in that blackness for a bit. You may not like it at first. Okay. Hop, skip, and a jump.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
Where we find the puzzle. A lamppost. And what a fine looking lamppost it is.
It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
It's like, where did I come in, actually? Oh, I'm disappearing. April 2009. This game is connected to the internet. As you walk around, you can leave notes. All notes you see are left by other players. Nice room, not.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game
How
is
do you
not
beat this
connected
game?
to the internet. All of the notes that you're
No
going to see
point to
have been
this.
written by Coda.
Oh, wow.
This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person.
Hello.
In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy,
Reasonable.
trying to get his attention. I was
Have you
over
read
enthusiastic, but he was
Hey.
very gracious about it and very patient.
This place makes me sad.
And I cooled off eventually. Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them.
I want to
Either
tell
way,
you a secret. Once
to
upon
me,
a
they
time
can
I
be a
did.
sense of loneliness. I see this person
Find
who's
fun?
filled with thoughts and
King of the world.
feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't
There's the
meant to be
wood and
played.
grass and concrete here. Some keyboard
But it's
mashing.
ironic, isn't it, that in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world,
I don't say that guy.
and then I feel less lonely too.
A free t-shirt. Other side. Door how open. Open sesame. Make game includes door. Cannot open door. Damn. Someday I'll meet the person who made this. I help people because of the internal good feeling I get. Oh, that's colourful. Your room. You hear the chimes, they keep you going. Scared of writing something, don't want to feel judged. It's not very crowded here. You can go in here, I think. Don't bother. A game where you leave notes and suddenly everyone's a poet. This is where I get off. I failed to write anything here. I don't need to cover all of these. Cabbage shapes our nation? What is that painting? Does not matter if you even get over there. Very good game. Think I'm this not going anywhere. I need someone to talk to. This is a note. Don't listen to the other notes. I'm not safe. It's quite a nice paint. Painting, what does it mean? Whoever made this has issues. Who are all of you? We won. We will all die someday? Stop pretending you're other people. Spoilers, it doesn't mean anything. Devil Tower Star? He was himself the most horrible creature he could imagine. Well, I'm here now. Yeah, we're all here now. There must be a reason for it though. His terrible secret, he kept it well. I beat the game. More room.
At the end of this level, we're going to see the
Scared of
puzzle
writing
again.
something.
And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one.
Come one with the spiraling nonsense. Downward,
In
keep
each of his
digging.
games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult,
Close your eyes
Coda
and
can
wish for
then
it really
place this
bad.
puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on. And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment. A few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
How do you leave notes? Are you there? Please say something. It can be anything. I just need you to say something. Talk to me, please. Why are you having so much difficulty talking? Speak, 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 speak.
Okay, this one is tough.
Pawn
It's gonna kinda
Stars
just
Die
spin its own
2?
wheels for a few minutes.
Sure.
Hang with it.
Oh, toilet. Oh, not a toilet. Okay, let's go this way. See, this is funky. There's colours. Seems to be an improvement on the environment design. Said environment, really funny there. Environment? Hmm? Oh, we're at the bottom of the well.
This is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting
Oh,
about
the
it.
wall's
You just
got
walk
fuck.
to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Yeah, it's definitely strange. Deliberately so. What furniture ought to go in the centre of the room? How about a TV with surround sound, a refrigerator, put a giant hole in the ground? Put a giant hole in the ground. We love a good hole in this. Oh, we get a table. Okay, now what about along the wall of the room? A huge picture of a horse, a washing machine, 10 stoves. I want 10 stoves. Nope, that is couches, okay. I think we should lighten up this room a bit. Skylight, full ceiling window, let's open this baby up. I'm thinking 10 by 12 recessed electric 6-inch soft LED ceiling lights with fluorescent trim. We'll put live Tesla coils in each corner. Yeah, let's do that. And we get a single lamp. That's quite a nice lamp though. A table, I need a table. Hang on. I've got a table. Who are you? Where exactly are you doing this from? I'm pretty sure none of my choices are making any difference. Tables were invented in 1935. Does that count as a... Oh, Jesus.
there's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake. So,
There's something kind of nice about that.
This time comes with the prison idea from a different direction.
Oh god, that's bright. Hello, please walk forward. This guide will enable you to escape from any prison. Follow the instructions carefully. First, click on this table. Go over to the photo frame and click to turn it slightly. Now turn the floor lamp in this room off and back on. Now go to the left side sofa, move it over a little. Finally touch the shelves. That's it. In a real prison, the escape will now open, return to the start, to be taken back to your prison. What? Damn, that's bright. Holy moly.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape.
Ah, cheated.
Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop.
This is the cost of living.
Against yourself.
This is what you get for it.
And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
It's interesting, like, even the silhouette of the house there was kind of conveys some. You feel like you can, like, really get into this. You could, like, really, like, break, like, the game design stuff down, but also the philosophical stuff. Maybe they're one and the same. Hello, who is this? Hey, it's me. I'm you from after you escaped the prison. You're me? ... So you were trapped in this prison too? Yep, I was in the furniture maze. Yep, I was in the escape tutorial. Yes, I was in the reverse prison.
What Coda wants is to be able
Furniture
to talk to
maze.
someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario,
That's
you're
where I
still
am right
talking
now.
to
I'm so
yourself.
glad to know that I get out. Eventually, what's it like to escape?
All of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
Actually, I'm already forgetting what being in the prison was like. Really? How long has it been since you got out? Years. Like, I've been standing right here working up the nerve to call you. Only a few minutes, but somehow it's already fuzzy. Kind of like it never happened. But this is the worst, most desperate thing I've ever been through. How could you possibly forget it? I promise it's not as bad right now as you think it is. You don't ever forget, you just stop identifying with it. Anything can seem infinite when you're drenched in it. When you don't ever forget it, you just stop identifying with it. Well, if you're me, then did you get a call from another version of you when you were trapped? No, I think I'm the first person to call back. Then can you tell me how to get out? Maybe I can come find you. What do I have to do? To get out, all you have to do is be sincere. To get out, you need to tell me how you feel right now. To get out, just talk with me for a bit. Maybe all you have to do is be sincere. What? That will free me? How does that work? Listen, you can't know until you're out, but I promise it works. Sincere about what? That's exactly what you need to figure out in order to escape.
can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
That would be nice. August 2009.
So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
It's
To
icy.
me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Well, my goodness, I'm glad as all heck that you showed up. I might be having to clean this entire house by myself. Right miserable that would have been. Everyone knows lonesome hands make lousy homes. Don't worry about me, a place this nice, I'll be glad to stay here all night.
Previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game
Near the
took 2
table.
months to create as a result.
Okay. Now, would you please run into the bedroom and make the bed? Sure. Okay. While you're in there, why don't you straighten out the rug? Done. Do you enjoy being a house cleaner? Well, I don't enjoy it so much as I need it. While I'm working, I feel a kind of calm that rests in the pit of my ribcage. My soul just can't be soothed any other way, it seems. Oh, tidy that couch. Would you straighten the pillows? Okay. Looks like someone spilled a drink over by the couch. Maybe mop that up. I feel compelled to share an incredibly cheesy personal insight. You okay with that? Make it especially cheesy. No. No, it was stupid. Sorry, never mind. Hey, these dishes need to be washed. Why don't you come and do that? Okay. Last I checked, the tub needed cleaning. How about you scrub it down the best you can? Okay. No need to be perfect. We're all just human. There are books scattered on the floor of the bedroom. If so, would you put them back on the shelf? Nice. Perfect. Now then, how about you come and clear these dishes off the— oh no!
Prison games. This house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you.
House cleaning is so difficult. How do you do it?
Into something meaningful.
Darling, let me tell you something. Your house is only as difficult to clean as you are. If you're finding the work hard, maybe you have a bit of housekeeping to do before you come to work. Here I go with another lecture. Of course I would. Don't you worry about all that nonsense for now. Just smooth out the rug in the bedroom.
Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up.
Oh,
to
the
ask me
bed
to come
was
over
made.
and look at it.
The tub has
During a
gotten
period of
dirty.
a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time, just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
Earlier when I said I had a really cheesy thought, I was going to say it occurs to me that one's house is a lot like one's soul. You take care of it and it takes care of you. Don't know why I felt so weird in saying that. But maybe there's a bit of truth to it, you know? Anyway. So, housekeeping. Let's keep doing this. Books, would you please clean up the books? Thanks. Okay. It is still a little bit like the prison game. A little bit more involved, but yeah.
I'm glad he made this. I'm glad he found some peace.
Okay, we've got that cleaned up. The dishes, no.
But
Question,
of course, it
do
can't
you—
last.
oh,
The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave.
oh,
Door
the
at the top of the
fucking
hill is
windows
now
have
open
gone.
as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
Okay. Ah, the lamppost.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
September 2009. Items you love at members only prices. Why did you come here today? Was it to improve your life? Was it to get a better job? Was it to make your relationships more meaningful? No. You came here to be perfect, to become perfect. This workshop is going to teach you how to be perfect. I want your friends, the people in your life, to look at you and think, wow, this person is a better human being than I am. Right, now, who do you think about that way in your own life? Who do you know who's so well developed as a person that they make you feel disgusted with yourself, compared to whom you feel useless, selfish, ungrateful? I intend to make you into that person. Perfection is within your grasp. And the question is not how do we do it, but how do we do it effortlessly? This is easy. It is so easy. It is so
About
easy.
halfway through the game,
Being
the perspective
perfect is
shifts.
effortless. What the fuck? This is the key. How do I achieve it
Play as
without
the
it?
teacher. And suddenly, you
On the
discover
way
that
to
your
work,
teacher
I
is
told an
just as
elderly
equally
person to
afraid
start
as you are.
contributing to
And
society.
also, you can move around the classroom now.
Well, let me tell you right now, it isn't effortless. It isn't effortless, then it's not the right answer. I still love you, it's just that you make me feel cold on the inside. Being alone must be awful. Thank goodness all of you perceive me as being wise and intelligent. Drinking is not hurting my life. If you're torturing yourself trying to find the right solutions for your life, you're not doing it. Do you understand that you won't be happy until you love me? This is for you. Ooh, I'm developing a cyst. Gross. Seek out only one thing. What is the easiest, simplest path forward? Is this like internal monologuing? Haha, just kidding. Anyone want to do some ecstasy after this? There is no truth, there is no path. What if I'm not a good teacher? Do what is easiest, do what's simplest, find what's true. Holy shit, you guys, something's coming out the back of the room, look out. It's coming for you, it's gonna destroy you. Everyone run, run.
I felt pretty hard for this one.
Perfection.
I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days.
To the stage.
This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the
fuck.
time.
Performance is beginning. Places, please. In this scene, you'll be playing as me. We are at a gathering of professionals. First, you'll start out leaning against this wall. Good, stay right there. The woman across the room in this chair is a professional photographer of animals. It's your dream to photograph animals professionally. This is your one chance to learn something from her, to gain something, to succeed. Go on, say something to her. Oh dear. Hello. Hello, that's it. That's not a conversation. You need to actually converse with her, be a human being. Do it again. I'm super scared right now. I like you. Here are all of my hopes and dreams. Here are all of my hopes and dreams. No, that's not what I said to her at all. You're completely missing the tone of the conversation. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted. I was confident. For some reason, it was just that one moment, but I was confident. Maybe it's that you need a better feel of the setting. There are a lot of people around us. I'll give you some props to work with. Those cones that bounce up when you touch them will represent people nearby. Oh cool, I can pinball myself around. Hey, thanks very much, lovely scientist, for the 61 months. Holy moly, that's nuts. Thank you very much for your support. You must have worked really hard to get where you are. You're messing it all up again. You'll freak it out if the conversation gets that personal that quickly. Do you not realise how important this was for me? I'll never get an opportunity like this again. Everything was riding on this. Jeez. I want to try something. Try stepping back from the stage. That's nice of you, scientist. Yeah. Let's continue. Okay, yes, now this is working. This is what I was like.
Premonition of what's going to
Holy
happen
shit.
next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looks to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer.
Jeez.
But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
June 2010. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. Click to begin the... Oh, fuck. Okay. Here's that. Well, this doesn't fucking help. At all. Am I doing anything? Is this a joke? This is a joke, isn't it? Fuck's sake. Help, I'm blind. Am I going to be killed by a giant door? Okay. We go again. What's going on? What's going on?
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise.
I can't die like
There is
this.
a solution, by the way.
Please, someone talk to me. Can I go in here? Oh, I can come up here. Truth. The only way to stop it is speak something that's honest. I can't keep making these. Oh. That's the truth. I can't keep making these. It's
Like
draining.
I said, I was getting concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So, where's that coming from?
I haven't been
And
honest.
even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
I have to work harder. You're going to be okay.
His games are going to get more desperate from here on out.
It's a good shout,
After this
Dagny.
game, it's almost
You're quite
6
right.
months before he finishes something new.
December 2010. Wow, that's bright. Hello. Oh. Where did this island come from? This is nice. Is that a person? How lovely. It's been a long time since I talked to anyone. What's wrong? You look lost. When I try to create, I feel empty. Oh no! What's happened? Did something change? There was a machine that kept me going and it stopped. Wait, you're looking for a machine? I think I know where it is. It isn't far. I need to see it to know why it stopped. I can take you to it, but there's a problem. It's guarded by a difficult puzzle. If you can help me solve the puzzle, we'll find the machine.
Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for?
Here's the puzzle, it's the door puzzle.
From my perspective at the time, and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet. And so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
Done. Puzzle solved.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
There's just words and some words. Trust me, you'll see. You have to say that your work is fun and easy. You have to say that game development is simple and joyous and that you love it 100% of the time. Right, making games is simple. Why did the walls just crumble? Don't worry about it, just keep talking. Keep saying that creation is easy. It is easy, it never stops being easy.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy.
It's such a simple solution.
I was watching him do this to himself.
Just never stop creating and you'll never feel bad.
It's like video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is
None of
what
this is
I really
helping.
cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him.
Patience, you have to trust me, I
For him to
promise this
suddenly
will
become
work.
angry and frustrated like
Please
this,
continue.
It was the worst thing for me.
Pain breezes effortlessly off.
I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't
There
know
is
how
no
else to
shame, no
explain
fear,
it.
no guilt. I will be saved by
I
my
wanted
work.
it to stop
I believe
more
this
than anything.
unquestioningly. I'm a
I
vessel for
never felt
certainty.
so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop.
Jeez.
But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
May 2011. The Machine. Ma'am, glad to see you've arrived safely. We've captured the machine. It's waiting for you now. You can begin the interrogation whenever you like. I intend to be quick. Very good. Just be warned that someone called the press, so we might have a bit of attention on this one. Also, one more thing that you should know about the machine. It calls itself Coda. How did you capture the machine? What can you tell us? It's a big old machine.
And of course, it's the machine.
You stopped. Your work was keeping us alive. It was only because of your creations that any of us could make it through every day. So here's what needs to happen. You need to go out there You need to go to the people who are out there and apologise to them. You have to admit to the people that you allowed them to suffer and being so alone. You need to apologise to the people out there. No, nothing. Alright then, I will speak to them for you. My followers, my friends. My friends. Falls on me to deliver bad news. The machine will not apologise to us, or the machine refuses to admit that it deliberately hurt us. The machine will not apologise to us. But this is not important. We're stronger than it thinks we are. We'll find a way to live without it. We do not need its games. We do not need its games. Let us pay it retribution. Let us show it that we are not failures. Follow me, we will destroy the machine. Follow me, we will destroy everything that the machine has created. We'll destroy the machine. And we're now back on the stage. Oh, Jesus. Sure, that's, yeah. That's one way to go about it. Coda, I'll make sure you're known forever. Isn't that what you're scared of? Exposed to the view of others every day, forever, seen in naked clarity.
At the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
Oh damn, we're going all the way back. Oh, I've fallen through the ground.
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
Put down your weapon.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something, I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It's the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy. So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
June 2011. The Tower.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, The Tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game. This room actually has a maze in it. Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise. The experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played. It actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all.
Okay.
But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze. And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze? The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code.
Coda fucking hates him.
It's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
Oh god, thank you. Nice. Yeah, I don't think Coda is impressed with the narrator. Hey, thanks very much for the follow. Hope you're having a good day.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that. Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't.
Seen the 3 dots all the way throughout, haven't we? We were on the wall in that first area. I think we've seen them recurring.
Made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped.
This is a big tower.
And it felt somehow like I had failed. Where did I screw up?
Dear Davey, thank you for your interest in my games. I need to ask you not to speak to me anymore.
Games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you. I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... It felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable.
Wonder at times whether you think I'm making these games for you. You've so
the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally, for a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
You've so infected my personal space that it's possible I did begin to plant solutions in my work somewhere hidden between games. If there was an answer, a meaning, would it make you any happier? Would you stop taking my games and showing them to people against my wishes? Giving them something that is not yours to give, violating the one boundary that keeps me safe. Would you stop changing my games? Stop adding lampposts to them?
And then you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing.
Would you simply let them be what they are? When I am around you, I feel physically ill. You desperately need something and I cannot give it to you. I literally do not have it. Struggling to come up with new ideas is not making me depressed. Low points are just a part of the process. The fact that you think I'm frustrated or broken says more about you than me. I realise that this doesn't make sense to you just yet, which is fine. You're not my problem to solve. I do hope that one day it clicks and that you make peace with this thing you're wrestling.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
When you finally see what I'm talking about, don't say anything. I always forget to close that.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
The epilogue. Quite nice area, this. Quite sunny. You know what, right? Actually, it's like, just as a commentary, not talking about the philosophy of the game, but the lighting here is perfectly nice. I do not need, like, quadruple RTX ray traced lighting or whatever.
More praise, more people telling me.
It's nice lighting.
Always more. It's like a disease. Solution. I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons. Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
Weird. Some of these areas feel like dreams I've had. Like this area in particular, I'm pretty sure I've had this dream. Like really claustrophobic.
If I knew that my life depended on finding
spaces.
something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like. What now?
It's quite
I
interesting.
need to go.
Just the
I'm sorry, because
the spaces here are really familiar.
And I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for, and so I'm just gonna. Okay.
Hey Keith, PC's managing okay so far. This isn't the most taxing game in the world, so I'm getting a bit lucky. But yeah, things are going okay. We've just reached the end of the beginner's guide. I'm not sure if you've played that before. It's quite emotionally damaging. I'm guessing we go down that. Oh no, we're climbing up. Nice. So there's a lot of messaging here about, like, you know, interpreting an artist's work and then putting how you feel about their work back onto them, which I think is quite interesting. Nice, we're back. We're kind of back here. See what's up these stairs. Oh, the world's longest hall, and the beam from the beginning. I wonder if we jump on it and we'll, like, rise up. That'd be cool. Can't actually remember the ending of this. It does. I mean, the guy, Davey, who made the Stanley Parable and this, is actually about to release another game. I think this week. So that'll be quite interesting. And I think what I'm hoping what the message of that game will be, well, I'll maybe talk about it after this actually. Oh wow. Wonderstop, yes. So it's about a cozy farming tea making simulator, but the person, the main character in it, is a warrior who feels weirdly restless. Something weirdly poignant about infinite mazes, eh?
Turn back.
Or
Turn back from this cave. You said, let me prove that I'm brave. Let me keep going. But the cave goes for miles and miles and miles.
I am glad you enjoyed it, Diavra.
And you're so tired, but I know that you're strong. So turn back, turn back.
That's very fair, Kishiro. And with that, we have finished the beginner's guide.